Amandla. Viva EFF, viva. Tata EFF, tata. Tata EFF, tata. Woza 2024, woza. Woza 2024, woza. Niyabasabana. 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 Ikalapi. Ikale eqaleni, ikale emuva. Ikalapi. Ikala phambili. Ikale eqaleni, ikale emuva. Ikalapi. Sibambeni. Sibambeni, sibambe impi. Sibambeni. 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 Wathinta thina. Wathinta thina. Wathinta thina. Wathinta thina. Wathinta thina. Hayi amabhubhesi. Wathinta amabhubhesi. 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 Niyabasabana. Wimpimpi Ramaphosa. Wimpimpi Ramaphosa. Wimpimpi Ramaphosa. Wathakatha Ramaphosa. Wathakatha Ramaphosa. Makasuswe Ramaphosa. Makasuswe Ramaphosa. Umulali Ramaphosa. Umulali Ramaphosa. Mawimpimpi ifana no Ramaphosa. Sumusale, simusele. Lenala resimusagazi. Mawimpimpi ufana no Ramaphosa. Sumusale, simusele, simusagazi. Mawimpimpi ufana no Ramaphosa. Sumusale, simusele, simusagazi. Simuyenzeni? Simuyenzeni? Simusaka. Simuyenzeni? Simusaka. Simuyenzeni? Simusaka. Simuyenzeni? Simusaka. Mawimpimpi ufana no Ramaphosa. Sumusale, simuyisele. Amandla. Thank you very much, comrades. Our convener, Commissar Godrich Gadi, and our coordinator, Mabatu Mukausi, Commissar, and our chairperson of the province and the secretary of the province, and all elected leaders of the Limpopo province who are here today, the regions, the sub-regional election task forces, and all ground forces who are here, all commissars who are deployed in the Limpopo province, and our national chairperson, Commissar Advocate Mpofu, is here. The reason why I'm making you sing these songs that I'm leading now is because these were the songs that were sang in the 80s, before 1994 freedom. So if you say 2024 is your 1994, you must first be in the spirit of the 80s, because there was no 94 without the 80s. So 2023 is the 80s of all of you who are here. Sing the same songs, embrace the same spirit, determination and anger of our people at a time, because they wanted to realize freedom in their lifetime. Comrades, I'm very happy to stand here because the people of Palestine have demonstrated that through determination and resilience, you can defy the bombs, you can defy death, and you can realize your freedom in your lifetime. We are speaking as we are today because there is a huge negotiations about ceasefire in the Middle East, where humanitarian passage will be created for the people of Gaza and Palestine in general to receive any form of intervention. And it is these small steps of 4 days ceasefire that will usher in the total emancipation for the people of Palestine. I'm very proud that today the arrogant regime of Israel has begun to start speaking about ceasefire. All of these are possible because of you, the ground forces of the EFF, because without you, this internationalist victory will never have been possible. We went to Parliament and we said to Parliament, we must remove the embassy of Israel. An overwhelming majority of our people in Parliament voted in support of the EFF that the embassy of Israel must be closed. That embassy must be closed until there is a permanent ceasefire in Israel, because we cannot harbor murderers and people who are committing genocide and people who want to wipe off the earth as particular ethnic group. What is happening in Israel and Palestine is not a holy war. It's an ethnic war where someone has taken a decision to get rid of a particular ethnic group. Therefore, the question should be, what would have happened to the people of Palestine if there was no EFF in South Africa? Because it is the EFF that has led to South African government to take the posture it has taken because of the pressure that was put by the EFF. Without the EFF, majority of our people will not have known that there are people being killed in Gaza and they are being killed by Israel. This Israel we are speaking about is not the one in Bible. This is the one that is driven by the devil, because no Bible encourages ethnic cleansing of other ethnic groups. So fighters, you play an important role not only in South Africa but internationally. And the international community has come to accept and celebrate South Africa for its progressive internationalism, because the EFF puts that necessary pressure. Fighters, we are here today because we are preparing for the national and provincial elections. And this election is going to be the most important election in the life of South Africa since 1994. And this election has got potential of ushering in every little opportunity that was missed in 1994. And when a person says to you, the ANC is going to win elections in 2024, you must start recommending a psychiatric hospital for such a person, because no single normal person can say the ANC is going to win elections next year. The EFF will be government here in Limpopo, will be government in Gauteng, will be government in KwaZulu-Natal, will be government in Mpumalanga, will be government in Northwest, and all over South Africa. And that is what we are fighting for. We are not fighting to lose. We are fighting to become number one. And number one we shall become, whether they like it or not. Comrades, when we started this organization 10 years ago, we made it very clear that this is a protest movement that will always associate with every progressive protest in communities. We said we are a government in waiting, and others went to make jokes about it, that will be a government in waiting forever because we'll never be government. Yet we are government now in Ekurhuleni, in Johannesburg, in Nelson Mandela, in Mogale City, in eThekwini. So in less than 10 years, we had already realized the dream of becoming a government in future. So that which we said at that time, that we are government in waiting, it has come to pass, because we have passed that test where they said you will never be government. We are the most progressive and the most service delivery driven government of all the municipalities where we've got MMCs. Comrades, the political discourse and politics in general in South Africa are interesting and exciting because of the EFF. That no one had interest in politics and no one wanted to hear what politicians have to say. They didn't care until the EFF was born. Only after the EFF went into parliament did people know that parliament has got a television channel called 408. They never knew before there was EFF that there is a channel where you can watch and hold your executives and your parliamentarians accountable. No one wanted to talk about the land in South Africa before the EFF was... No, I'm fine. I once asked Mbuyiseni to pour water for me. And these clowns of South Africa made it a big issue. No one will talk about the land. It was a taboo to talk about the land. You were told that you are actually going to scare investors if you talk about the land. That you've got a potential of collapsing the South African economy if you talk about the land. Until the EFF came and said, everything starts with the land and everything ends with the land. When you are born into the land. That is the beginning. When you die, you are buried. Without the land, you won't be buried. Without the land, you won't be born. No one can be born in the air. That's why we said we can talk everything else. As long as there is no land question on the table, we are wasting time. So we need the land to address every problem you have. If you've got a headache now, it's not a headache, it's a problem of the land that causes the headache you are experiencing now. When we give you the land, everything gets resolved. Lefatshe le botlhokwa because lena le tla tseba gore when you don't have the land, ba re motho o tlhokofetse ka mo gae, wena o nna ka di back room ka mo ga geno, ba biditše family, ba re no ha o tliwe meeting o tlo bolelwa ka funeral, wena wa o nna ka mo back room, ba re le nana gore re ka boloka neng, wena le back room o bule molomo o re ke nana gore re mmeye ka la botlhano, o thoma ke bommawa, o thome ke anyone, ba re nko kgomole batho ba bolele, nko kgomole ka gore a o na lefase, therefore your opinion matters not. Mara o tla sister wa o nna mokhukhung ka jujuveli, lwena o nna mokhukhung ka backyard, ola o nna mokhukhung jujuveli, o a tsena ba roma wena gore a le di metsi ka gore batho ba fitile ka gore. Why? They know you come from your land, o na le jarata, therefore you must be respected because o na le jarata. That's how important the land is. Useless. So, for us to have our dignity restored, we must return the land into the hands of the African people who are being undermined because they are propertyless. Without property, there is no dignity. Hence, Patrice Motsepe, rich as he is, if he goes past a group of white racist boys at night, they will beat him up. Why? Because he's a black person, hauna ntwa idea, hana property. You won't do anything. Every hauna ntwa idea. They mean you can't even take them to court. With what? Because for you to go to the lawyers say, put the guarantee for the money that will be paid at the end of this case. You can't put any money because you have no land. But matter because Patrice Motsepe, Bamushapelor is a black person, because to all of them, black people are the same, have got no property, therefore they are not worth respecting. Until someone says, ke Patrice Motsepe, meaning it's a different black, this one. He's not like the rest of them. So that's why Patrice Motsepe must join the struggle for the land to be returned, even when he's got the land. Because if he's got the land alone, they will not respect him. He needs to take all of us along. Then he will be respected. So when we fight for the land, we fight for the respect and the dignity of black people. Re lwela seriti sa gore le tlhomphiwe mo le tsamayang gona, ba tsebe gore lena le sa lena keng ke lefase. That's why we will be the most hated people, because we want you not to be treated like monkeys, because you are not monkeys. And anyone who says you are not monkeys is an enemy of those who see you as monkeys. Or monna, every time I speak, these people understand my message very well. Leave the noises they are making. They know what I mean. I mean that they must share a table with a monkey. That's what they are hearing. That we can wake up one morning and sit on the table as equals with a monkey. What is this guy saying? It's not going to happen, that. This guy is a problem. And then they start bringing all types of problems against this guy, because this, that you must be on the same table as white people, must be suppressed. No one must say. Lefase kerena, and without lefase, we are nothing. Ogre monna wa letawa kwa skukuni, aitwa mudirong, annaka ra mukhuku, o sna le fence ya fence mara e kgorile ngwenya e a tseba re la ka lebala le bua mo le jigaso. O bona e fita e teka o ka re itlowa, a fita mo jarateng ya yona, o bona e ke balantsha e re ke kam. Yeah. What? A bolele le motho wa ke teboa yena self, wa ke fila ore ke na le motse ke karata kam. Imagine all of you have got pieces of land. A le tsamaya maeta a le godimo. Why? Lena le ka lena. You've got a piece of land. You've got a place to call home. Bari baswa abasarata politiki. They are no longer interested in politics. But when the EFF came to be and became a player in the politics of South Africa, young people came back to politics and said, this is the future, and we want to associate with this future as young people. Aribulele Maka, the convener just read a report here. How the institutions of our learning, the leader kaofela chona, the leader ki EFF, li TUT, yona yela barileli luzije, alai luza, ke baetapele ba lena ba robetši on duty and did not do what was supposed to happen at TUT. The TUT of Polokwane belongs to the EFF. But batale kheta yuang isangala kubo na la vitala like a pabaj. Why? Lilusije TUT? Because le bereka yualo ka mopo. Le bereka yualo ka mopo. Bar yualo walui wa tefluop roba ka tef. You all go to Teflio. La TUT. You all go to La Vitala Wina Teflio. Ele sarlia celebrate a lebetamato. Ele papara bare TUT zamai. Lord Juan. Let's amai le gamogofe. Kamokana le na la shala na morao. La si dividane. Because when you are a leader, you are an all-rounder. You must do all of these things at the same time. A leader can't wear the ochlapur rebereka tefluo. No, rebereka everything at the same time. So leadership should know that we are an all-rounders. Abari kreke nka sonta mamotar molu. Osasa ke tšatši la kereke ba re ba swantše ba re kry yona mo e ba re tšhaile ka kerekeng ba re yalo pleasure wa dibeta meropa casino ba re kry yona mo a ona mo ba sa tshwanela go re kry-a. We are all rounders. We do everything at the same time. We don't concentrate on one subject. By the time we realize we have lost another subject, because that's how monkeys work. Di tšhweni di bereka bošaedi gampe, di tsena ka gara tšhimo tša yo utswa mabele, tša tšea wane tša re tlhafa, tša bea kang. tša bobedi tša bea ka mo lekhwafeng tša tshwara so ya gape ya bea ka lekhwafe e bea yela yawa. We cannot be like that. A re patagile a re tsenya engwe re pataga gona ka mowe. That's what leaders should do. And therefore, when you have lost TUT, it doesn't mean you must not go and service those students because SRC Asiarena. We must actually service them double so that in the next election, they know that this is the organization we have been waiting for. Comrades, for 30 years, were subjected to mediocrity. For 30 years, were excluded from the economy and the social life. Our social life, kore mo nyoko ya ngona man, o nyoko ya varambata bare, ona le metsi a o fisha, ngolodo tobola mmele le varambata. We couldn't go. For 30 years, we can't go because we have got no means to meet those social standards. Because things that you want to do, you must do them as in when you feel like, not because the political and the economic system is designed in such a way that even your desires as a person can be met. Ona lo tsa dintšhile nyaka o ditia le dutšimo bontši ba lena be le nyaka o le ba dingaka bontši ba lena be le nyaka le ba di engineers. You couldn't go because the system is designed in such a way that you ought to be excluded. For 30 years we couldn't be what we wanted to be. Joblessness, there are no jobs for 30 years. When Ramaphosa came in, the joblessness worsened. The unemployment went high. The homeless became even more. So, crime is too high. Who would have thought in our lifetime there could be crime in Venda? Because my vendor are bolunga kamanda man, bolunga sterek. They are not people of crime. But the most dangerous crime in Limpopo is being committed in Venda. Barona lidilo bargidi Jerusalem. Cash in transit by better daylight shandima. Midday 12 o'clock. No one can do anything. Who would have ever thought that one day Venda can become one of the top 10 Toyando police station? Top 10 crime. Venda becomes an epicenter of rape. Who would have thought of that? If this thing has reached Venda, then lebala ka seshego le boa kgomo khapane fedin. That place was the most peaceful place. And okopisa sterek. And then because it's too hot, ebe ro robala le ka montle re sa tswalla mafastere robala mo stupung. Because it was a peaceful place. The ANC came, yayo bodisha Venda. It's rotten to the core. So, a person dies, maloba nyana mo, kina lebo mutu, utlokofala mo Indian center in town, 11 a.m. Lebo comes to see me at 10 p.m. at night. The person has been lying there dead in town, not in a village. Indian center, in town, from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. at night when we started making calls. Or, what are you doing, guys? What is this? No one cares. For 30 years, if a person can collapse in town, ambulances come, certify the person dead, forensic must come, camera person must come, take pictures, then the government mortuary come fetch this person, go. The government mortuary is 5 minutes away from that person who died. Can you imagine the person who dies in Bloberg? Those families are going to be forced to sleep with a dead body while they are still trying to find a neighbor with a car who's got courage enough. For 30 years, that has been our life. No one cares. For 30 years, the inequality, the gap has widened. The rich have become more richer. The poor have become more poorer. And when I say the rich have become more richer, you are thinking of another black person. Whites have become more rich in South Africa than they were during apartheid. Is going to work like this, would have given it to you guys in 1976 so that children don't die. What do you mean? I don't know, we're making more money now than we were making money at that time. This democracy of 30 years has benefited the oppressor more than the oppressed. And it's not me. The numbers are there for you to see. Stats is there for you to see. The economy is not growing and creating jobs. Why? The white people are the ones who have money. They have kept their money in the bank. They are not releasing it. They are not reinvesting it in South Africa. That's why this economy will never grow. That's why there will not be jobs. Because for jobs to be there, the money that is in the bank, a lot of it must come out to come and build factories so that we get jobs. They are not interested because they don't trust this black government. Leave the fact that the ANC is corrupt. They don't trust black people. That's why they must keep their money in cash. So that if you turn against them, they just press transfer and then they are out of this country. They can't carry a factory. That's why they can't invest in factories. They have no confidence in our government. Comrades, in Limpopo, corruption is a matla. Mo kore, if you are not part of the inner circle, ya corruption ya ANC, you will never get an opportunity. Bo bioscope, o ilo go ba re motho ke bioscope. Bioscope. Ba utswa tšhelete ya setšhaba. Aba age dintlo. Aba fe setšhaba sa ga borena dintlo. Because tšhelete e swantse re fiwe lena. E akara dipokoto tša di-politicians. So, re swanetše gore re lwantšhe bomenetša le bokgodu bo be beng gona mo Limpopo. And ha re lwantšha bomenetša le bokgodu bo be beng gona mo Limpopo, baetapele ba rena ba ska rekwa. Ba reka ke batho ba ANC, ba ba reka ka disente. Leaders must always speak truth and speak truth to power. Because if the powers that be are not told the truth, they will never know that they are wrong. We need to stand up. and say we need functional hospitals in Limpopo. Re nyaka di kliniki di budiwe 24 hours. Ho be le ma security au gada equipment le manese le di doctor tse di be mo. Because a re lwale motshehare fela, re lwala le bošego. So hani bjale panka di manipulator renta. As a result of the manipulation of the rent, a lot of our brothers and sisters who were climbing the ladder into the middle class have lost their houses, have lost their cars, have lost every little thing they got through loans because of the manipulation of the rent. Mara batho ba utswangi chelete through manipulation of the rent aba tshwariwi ebile a re ba tsebe. If Bakari Godrich Gadi got a tender of 2 million in Polokwane, Bailo Muncha, his face, the face of his wife, the face of his mother and grandchildren, we will know everything about the stolen tender of 2 million because it's a black person. But these ones who have manipulated the rent and stole trillions and trillions, they have got no faces. But our banks have manipulated the rent. But who is behind those banks? What are the faces of these people? Where do they stay? They don't tell us because it's white people. It's white people who manipulated the rent. And therefore white people can do anything they want to do and get away with it. Mamotla lentši ka gare ga stage 6 load shedding. Re matšhitše ra lwa ra dia shut down. But Twitter from their bedrooms, but the EFF is collapsing the country, is collapsing the economy. It will. Stage 6. And then, stage 6, the load shedding. How dala rugby, diatamai. There's no load shedding when rugby plays. Because stronger together. Once the stronger together finishes, load shedding comes back. Hello, did you miss me? Stronger together, ya fake, ya middle class, ya fake, ya unyoko rata ke makhuwa, ba tsamaya ba latswana le makhuwa, ba dutse ba tseba hore makhuwa ba ba rata. Bona ba ikgarametša mo makhuweng o bontša gore makhuwa a ba rata as ba ba senyetše nako. Whites did not waste time. They went with the trophy everywhere where there were white people and white supporters and spectators. Irla ya ka mo Eastern Cape ka mo ka East London township ye ba re keng Mdantsane ya tsena ka Mdantsane cup ya stronger together. There was no single white player in the bus. Because the Siya Kolisi was alone with all other black people. They knew once Itomo Yabuma East London, there are not too many whites there. This one can go and handle them alone. What happened? In Mdantsane, so many people came out to see their heroes. The white heroes were not there. Because it's stronger together when it comes to white people. When it comes to us, it's not stronger together. I mean, if we are wrong, for 30 years, I used to work in this province as a secretary of the Youth League. I could speak Tsonga, I could speak Venda, because I was working here interacting with those people. Language, just by the people you live with, you will know that language. Arer Makua Nebasigon. They came to South Africa in 1994. They've been here for 30 years. For 30 years! They don't know a single African language. Single African, for 30 years. How do you do that? If you really take us serious and you believe in us, that we are human beings, that our language and cultures are worth embracing, why are white people in South Africa not speaking Vernac? 30 years. Before 1994, they were not allowed to mix with us. Now we are mixing together. But it's not only language. For 30 years, white people don't go to Shiro. They don't come where we stay. That's why Stronger Together whites could not go to Mudansan. Because white people do not go into the black areas. If bar rata lena was Stronger Together, why basatimo lenangi? Even in your own family, when you say, I've got a friend called Godrich, but Godrich yo bolelang ka ena o tlo tla ninga mo gae if ke mogotsi wao. If these whites are your friends, you are stronger together. Why are they not coming to you? In the white areas, when the bus of rugby went, black people were there. In the black areas where the bus went, white people were not there. Let's lenyaka o ratwa na le skampala ona mo na ke rapeletse boroko ka o budulala nna ke ba botsa nnete makgoa a ba re rate ebile a ba re nyake, and you must start internalizing that, and you must accept that white people don't want us, including white people who were in the struggle. Why did Joe Slovo not speak Zulu or Xhosa? Because the guy was with these guys in the camps there. Why? Why these white people who were in exile, in the struggle, in prison, not speak Vernac? Yet they say they are progressive, they are with us, they support us. But they don't speak our languages. They don't come to where we stay. Mararena, we are forced to chase after white people. So, comrades, bakase re tlhompe arna lefase and arna musho, which forces these people to respect us. So, when you register the EFF and say, let's go and vote in 2024, you are registering so that all of these things can be reversed for the better. Because for 30 years, these people have failed us. Ground forces of the EFF, ke mmereko wa lena, gore le di tsebe dilo tše ke bolelang ka tšona, you must know them and internalize them. And when you go to communities, le bolele ka tšona without hesitation. Ke be ke le lebeletše over the past weekend, a ne re be re register le berekile mmereko mo botse wa o kgatla kgoro le tšwele ka makata a namane. You all went out. You were ready. You were ready to fight. You were ready to fight for the victory of the EFF. And for that, I salute and thank all the ground forces of the EFF all over South Africa for respecting the call to go and defend the vote of the EFF. We are nothing without you. You are the lifeblood of our organization. You are the epicenter. You are the nerve center of the revolution. And without you, we are nothing. Comrades, you are volunteering. You don't get paid. You don't get anything. Some of you don't even have t-shirt. Some of you don't have tablecloth. Le no pe chancha. Why le pe chancha? Le afisharelwa ka mo gore moshomo wa EFF o tswele pele. So as a ground force, you don't complain, you don't despair. You've got yourself. As long as you are there, the EFF is there. I will make the plan for the EFF to be visible in my village, in my township, in my town. It is your duty as a ground force. A ground force must be a person who commands the respect of the community. Ogeroba mobilize into action because of how you articulate your message. A ground force ke motho e leng hore o tseba mathata a motse o wa rena o. And you know authentic protest and factional protest. Agero go na le batho ba le ba o no marcha ba re a re sanya ka councilor. The Lirnaria joiner, hey, Arsanya councilor. Khani, there is nothing wrong with council. Ki defection cha ANC, dialwa, dibaka bo councilor. Ba shumisha community, ulwa dintwa cha bona. Wena as a ground force, uswanchu keleme ukhono differentiator between authentic community protest and factional protests that are taking place in our communities. Comrades, let's go to Baba to Hopela Red Bull. Aga Japel, I get them. Sorry, get that. So, Mono Agampa Red Bull, who get some energy. So, you must not know these people as a community. You must know them by their names, their surnames, where they stay, and you must know in that house, is there a disabled person? Is there a child-headed family? Is there an old person there? And all of that. Lebatsebe kama vitsu. If una le mokhekolo ka mola, every morning as a ground force, as a councillor, as MP and MPL in your community, every morning it's your duty to go and check up on her. Comrades, it doesn't take more than 5 minutes. Because ukano rusa fita wakira ba shimana ba mo location ba o seleka ba mo dilelo ja o se diere o sna motho a tsebang o sna thusho ya ka e kreya monna o tsama ka wheelchair mara ka mo gagage a o tsenege. It's not a user friendly. What more do you want? It just needs you to start mobilizing each other. No man. Ar mudielens tupunyana saure wheelchair ye khonona mela. When you go to campaign next year, you don't have to say anything. When you arrive, bar ke ba fiba. Bar agar ke ba le ba udiela mutakula rempo pula ber pelari ya re monameja ka mola palla go namela. Ke bona ba tleng ba tla ba dia rempo. Bar o ke bona. Then ke moka Matsonga ba ile ba bolela ba re metero ya bolabola. So ale tomo campaigner le rema ke tho le tsebora la dia selo. You didn't do anything. Bare le bomang ba le tseba, they know you, these people. Bare le bomang ne le mokai mara ba le bona every day. Bare be le mokai. They are not asking about your name and your presence around here. They are asking, when we were struggling with water, where were you? When my child was denied a report at school, where were you? Lebelele mokai. We're not during our suffering, during our struggles, where were you? Leboma na re le tsebe. But when you do good by the community, they will never ask you that question. And don't do it for the votes, because that's a problem. You are all gathered here. Lenyago yo bereka for the votes. Bereka for the love of the community, not for the votes. Because how can I the votes by law would share that question? I get a call on Saturday of registration in Zone 5 here at Sio. There are no information tables of the EFF in Zone 5 here. Bam phonela batho ba community ba re no re be re ilo register a ona batho ba EFF Zone 5 ko what among Zone 5 what level? Let me tell you what level of Polokwane Zone 5. On the day of registration, there were no tables of the EFF. I get called by community members, and then when I do a research further, there are two councillors of the EFF who come from that ward. Two councillors coming from one ward. And then that's a ward I must be receiving a call that there are no tables. Balebo, this is not my company. Because I two councillors. I have to now call around and get people to go to Zone 5. Again? Why? Why am I doing that? It's my duty to make sure where there's a problem of the EFF, I intervene. Especially where I come from. When I, as a councillor, where you come from, there's no EFF table. How can you assist communities well? Omang, opalla good pusha EFF ye wishing in the council. Osna selo ole useless. Osanga wa wina le wati. Osanga wa ba anything. Huh? Opalla kudo tusha mokhato wo udile moto batho ba le bona o ba tusha kae opalla ke EFF, because everything starts with the EFF. We first build a stronger EFF in order to build stronger communities out there guided by the organization. Where now ban deployle Mankweng, hai ban deployle Blowback. Before we have Blowback, lokisha tsa geno robetse jwang wena o sa tsebe hore where you stay there is no table, there is no tablecloth. Huh? You ought to take care of your people first before you ka khona batho ba Blowback. O ta ba botsa eng ba lebile ba khole gampe. Re fetse re lega breakfast or no ara ya breakfast ara ye re na le councilora tše pedi tša zone 5 tše di ka apiang tša tšona breakfast tša yo fa di volunteer tša EFF. Go sasa mola zone 5 mola go na le mme o mongwe wa ANC wa o tshwenya wa councilora mola ba re ke mang no monde o bile di tše maphodisa re dia bohulu a re batho šiba ba dia bohulu o sasa ba tloa ba re o rekile makhanselara a EFF a mabedi nka e tshepa e ba ka diota ka maka e se nnete ba diota ka maka ba re no monde o rekile makhanselara a EFF a nka e tshepa wa ba ka tsamaya ba sena tafula e le gore ba rekwa. What went through them? Lete le palelo ko ba le ditafula in town Polokwane le na le tsebe Blowback or bona o ta reila o botswe bose o re botse gore wena o ka yo dia di table Blowback we tswa mo Polokwane where the town is easily accessible, everything is just around here, you don't have tables. One of the schools that didn't have a table, strata sela sa bo Brasae ba re keng Mapolo, nor what? No Nordrand. Lear school or something, Maburu anamo. Mola mo kenyagalina la lo la skolo sela man mo bendo mo gaufi le Brasae yeah some northern or something la school was or something anamola ke skolo sela asina tafula ya EFF Moton rumela snipe or there is no table of the EFF. Where is this place? I start checking. On the same street. That's where my brother stays. Roni Malema, who was the chairperson of the EFF Capricorn, stays in the same street. Kiamofonela, Roni. Kaya kitoma kamusadi. Lekai maurin, awaro. Le mokai ar ka moai o thobela kiajo Roni o mokai mo builders builders le dia ndo reka wana fish lane ya o kata lawn o lo kata kai ai Roni le a tswa gore mama thautha gae chief ke re mamotha go na le registration mola wena o nnang ona a go na tafola. Those are your family members who are going to take a platform when you die that they support you, they've always supported you, but where they stay there's no EFF table. So before we even come to you, we must start with our own families. Or support. Be the first ones to go and put the tables. Why? There is no winner. Ke bona ba mathomo ba o kry-a di VIP ticket. But how berekishwa bana ba batho ba bangwe, bona they are nowhere to be found. How do you have your own family members? Ori, ape a rekere di VDETFs. A rekere di VDETFs. In your family, you are 7. None of them is a volunteer in a VD. You are looking too far. From today, lebelela mo gaufi le wena before you look outside. So lenna ba rile ba mpotsa ra una tafula ka re bendo e re ke lebelle hore ke mangana mola ka kry ya eshu ka re hey tafula ye we ya lone a ke nya go itseba. The following day ka 6 ke thaba ke yona ka dinepa ke bile ke ile le ka kwa thukwela kale a re bona ke ta kantshitse black a ke sa nyaka phoso na. I don't want problems. We need to start with our wives, with our children, with our cousins, with all our relatives, because when I went to address in Mpumalanga, I found Godrich's mother seated there, the wife seated there, the sister-in-law seated there. Kermagog, what are you doing here? Argena volunteer ya VD, his mother. Asanga, the mother are. No, my son is something big in the EFF. I get it in. We start. Go and get 10 voters. Each one of you. You don't start with your family members. I don't understand. Le a tswa mola yo nyaka batho kwa ntle. Wa re ke kreile 5. Ka mo ga yona le batho ba 60 ba o vote. O le tshetse ke eng mo mathong a ke tsebe. Mara batho ba lena bao ke bona who stand to benefit in the immediate. Abayo emela budget e pasa. Khwediane le tseneng ka yona le gola khwediane we ba ja the same month. Why can't they go and carry posters? Because they know that if this thing succeed, our family will succeed and the community will succeed. So fighters, let's go and work the ground. Retoma ka ba rena, retoma ka ba khotsi ba rena, and everyone who's close to us. The work becomes easy that way. Lady BETFs, you can't establish a VDETF. What am I? What size say visa? Here VDETF guy or a salary via Batsamai. I wanna or Baskata Maya because Abatsibi Merako Abon. Usancho Babiye over service. How do you service them? After putting VDETF, every activity in the branch must rotate from one VD to the other. There must never be a VD where you say that VD is too far. There is no VD too far if it's in your what? I rotate the activity. And ya lo re tswa mo o taborra seditjore ke nna coordinate ya branch o coordinator eng ka ra o coordinate di VDETFs coordinator di VD o di coordinator so as a coordinator le re no ke rena a una di activist mo. There will never be activists without activity. Branches wanchi ite kadi program. Chadi netball, chau lancha crime, chau macha police station, they don't have to be big like this. Small to the size of your branch, it's enough. Anyane branch it lo. So activities. When you have activities, you will have activists in your branch. So go and do all of those things. Let allow complain. What's working? Renale another 4.5 years to fight. Mara adi election defeater. Arisa di ajana che win. O moja ruwena o toba nchichimisha re robe ya di poster wena. Arisa alwan. Re lwa inge re lebalane le naba. Le naba shili. Barki 2024. We cannot afford to fight each other. We must come together and fight the enemy. Apele au complain no. Arsa complain o complain ikai. Hey mamang adi nyinyi. Hey idi yewen. Wa usaidi. Odo taura sedich. Mamang adi nyinyi kabaka la gore. Wa chwafa wena. That's why o khona o mona o adi nyinyi. Mara go ka thoma o bereka wena. Wasibele taba le motho o ka se mmona. Go and do your work. Comrades, we are going into elections nicely. Again, don't threaten anyone with violence. Abelo rutshere monna utshere molaitsa thowe bujije awulwe ka matsogo awulwe ka di weapon. You use your brain to fight. Don't use violence. Don't threaten anyone with violence. Especially basadi ba mekgatlo e mengwe le ba EFF. A re lwele motho, a re destroy di poster tša motho. Ska tsamaya o destroy posters of other people. If you are bored, Zamoncha the poster jack EFF, or the remove because adi enough, or the Viega Mola Straten Sela Mamota, but the one, Osasawe Udin Cherape, or the Shega Mola, Agrona le energy uncha the poster, Nchaja EFF, or the relocate, or the dear mobile. You've got enough energy, leave other people's posters, let's go destroy maybe teeny. Yabat babangwe, let's go stop about babangwe, udia door to door. Hello twara meeting, le make a show or venue alena, li bugile abutsi, a little papa na lemat. Let's go force Sabbath to donate to the EFF, especially the Somalians. Le raurasir donate le roitswale la shopwe. Do not force anyone to donate to the EFF, and do not do manga deals with anyone. Or if you give us money now, when we take over government, we are going to give you a tender. Oscar Komita. Khopela tšhelete gabotse, o khopelle di volunteer tša gago, a o fetša ba o fe ba o file, es ba o fa a ona problem. Ge o yo khopela tšhelete, o ska tsamaya o le teng, tsamaya lo mongwe, ka gore ba ile o fa 100 ranta, ba tsamaya ba bolela gore ba o file 300 ranta, and ya bane wena 100 ranta o itišitše. Her di kwa ba re 300 rara po tišitše 100, and tša tshwanela. So gore o ska ba wa bolelwa maaka ka wena ka ditšhelete, ge o yo tšea tšhelete e ya lo mongwe wa le fighter. Ntle le mowe tšhelete is tempting, re a sokola re le jalo. Ge o fetša o tšea tšhelete ya donation ya EFF, o fita ka gae di banana šitše di a lla di tšwa le mamina di a jaloša. Ke moka gore 100 rand e la EFF wa re ke moka o tsene mathateng. So always be in a company of other people when you do that. Do not spread lies. Ska bolela maaka. Huh? Deputy Chair. So that we can plan. Kia Free State tomorrow. Barmon Nabare, no. Regrele dijo for all the regions. You can take care of this and that region, no problem. Kamasa 12 midnight 1 o'clock. Bam phonela. Hi. But balabar promised dijo as abasa tsara di phone. Ker asur go naware bale promised dijo. O rile rekreile dijo. O shetse o di miditse dijo tshela o mpotsa ka tsona. O bolela maka, why do you lie? Re botsa o re wa palelwa. Re tlo namela o ska nana re wa going to say nice things. We are going to remind you how useless you are. Useless. Mara, arve chao drop a phone re a tswa re na le bothata. Jela chao fafata mo phone, they are not going to solve this problem. A problem must be solved. Do not lie. Leka batho ba re tsamonya ka VDTF tsa batho ba 15 wena wa tsamaya wa yo ngwala maina mabita wa mabiteng wa yo ngwala maina. Why do you lie? Yo jumpisa. Eventually it's going to come out. And then that lie will live with you for the rest of your life. Tomorrow you must lead us. Mara unale maka. Don't lie. Na ke bulele maka mebra. Wana kudo uboja yona straight urishiwe. Ana le phone ke na le phone e wana ke na phone jepeng. Maybe I'll be ya mosadi. Baba motsebang aba sankere ba ka mo phone. Mara uskana na ro ka sinkere. You'll get me on the phone. And if I don't want to talk to you, why are you calling me? I don't want to talk to you. What is this? So I don't hide, I don't go running. If umpaditaba, kita waraba chona, or nagidi bona so. I get all jiga, and then leave a lie, get ready to phone, jedinchi, hey, erinchika montumbar no dalang music, but baba interceptor, baskari interceptor intelligence. No, but by intelligence, batang interceptor, by nyaga. Kaur, ntweki bulelanga mo spirit. Go repeat public. So let them not waste resources. Awa kisatwe bulela, kisai policha le mutaku. Elu na umpucha maka uta itsola kaur. Yona ko ibulela tabe ane ampucha nyon. Ko ibulela ka kuante. I'm going to say oh, so comrades, do not lie, never lie, and do not use vulgar language. And comrades, let's go campaign a lenwele or legislate drugs or obolela le voter utsuba cigarette or vote O fetše o nagane gore those people are going to vote for you. No. Le a tsuba la fetša la kgona le ya mo bathong. O ska ya o nwele bjala, o ska ya o jile di drugs. Always e bang clean. Ho ba clean a so ba expensive. O ska apara skipa sa EFF sa lerata sa o galoga. O re hey, ape regalia. O mpona gore nna ke tlile ka mo ka ya apara regalia. Mara it doesn't make me less EFF because I ka apara regalia. I am EFF ke kaname ke lebeletse odimo. EFF a se regalia. A re aparen regalia, mara re ska apara maratha regalia. Ra apara regalia di tšhila, ra se tlhape le rena. Comrades, o tsamaya mo o nkga makgwafa, o se o thape, o tsena ka motseng wa batho bao ke thata, o le clean, o nkga monate. Wena wa di o tsena ka lefeta. A o se no tsena ka lefeta ka mola motseng ola ore ro lefa mebereko, ro lefa eng, ke moka o a tsamaya ba lefeta lona le ka fa motho mmereko le khwafa. You must dress the way you want to be addressed. Ever clean as a ground force. Be clean. Be presentable. Know your issues. Ever to ba lebelela. But this is a representative of what tomorrow looks like. Tomorrow looks like this person. Oscar re fita, but bado ba hopeless. Don't be. Always be presentable because you are the mayor, you are the councillor, you are the HOD, you are the MEC, you are the premier. You just don't know. You represent that future that we are marching into. Always be presentable. Oscar Chavali teacherela be you ruta metse it's about when I do what I kopo o paleji ki woodwork ge o be ile berete mo bon mathata le ka moka ba lebeji ka moka awu ka fela o tsena berete ba tswa hey o tsene bonqondo yalo ditlobo one more Oscar ba le motse or factory or school or ye uchabang o itsena. By virtue of being EFF, you've got a license to enter everywhere because everybody in South Africa agrees with the EFF, including the ANC. Ba no chaba, ba chaba. Mara ge ba ntši ba lete ba re okay mara ka ona wa bolela na re a ke re moganeditše mara o bolela maka are ke nnete mara wa thelela manyana o tšeo se ka di bolela tše ba kwana le rena ka moka na bona ba bangwe ba sa dutše ka kua boyelong ba nnišeditše tala gore re ta tšwa mo raya kae mara in reality and politically there is only one organization that makes sense in South Africa, and that organization is the EFF. So that's why don't be scared to go anywhere. Ari chamo roberek. Ariri hi na rinya ke violence. Eba betha motho mo larar. Na rinya ke violence. Re condemn. Rabara itsena ra ilamula or whoa. Stop the violence. Not in the name of the EFF. Robereka le IEC morbona masatu re legele satuli are le nyaki re a le tseba. That's why VDETF le party agent e swantse be batho ba ba tswang mowe gore gore ba tsene sekolo mola ba ba tseba masatu a dikhuruku a sekolo sela e ba fita ba re o re a mo tseba ke lesatu a ka se bereke. Go and do that. Mo le telelwang ona ba le threatena bo tsa maphodisa o re hape nna motho sholwa le rena. Comrades, di gazebo di gona kwa et office ba direkile ntwe la gazebo e tura hampe e bora o bora ke 5,000 e one ya o brandiwa ba eta pele ba EFF nke le rekeleng batho ba di gazebo le ba rekele di gazebo wa tseba ntwe la gazebo e ba dutse ba batho ba rena ba dutse go gore ba khatisha wa mmona re a tseba gore a lena tšhelete and all of that mara anyane o no topa e timo la neng tšepedi ra khopela le businessman e le re topela tše nnenyana. Please, let's get gazebos. Ba etapele ba EFF mashila ale o bia motor flame ala thile Floyd ile ba mpontša sniper yena ebile o a bone le maraba start ke rolo le a tsamaya la yo reka rolo ela la e ngatha ga botse le a tseba lena la e rokanyetša ga botse ya ba botse la khona o brenda e le fetša o brenda ebile le a diapara lo diapara tše dingwe tše. Leaders must do that. Now you must not do door to door without canvassing sheet, without voters roll. Yo roetšea kae ke bana ba ba ntšeng ka mo pele le ba ba di city tša ka pele ba ba swantše ba tiše canvassing sheet ba tiše le voters roll, because ha le mo fa report o le swantše le mo fe report ka canvassing sheet. Ha re canvassing sheet ka le re file ke mang ka gore a wa re fa yona ya lo ka nyaka nto so re fi yona ba eta pele go and get voters roll ba bolela mo bare you have spoken to 11,000, we need more than 1 million that you spoke to directly that appear on the voters roll. Go and talk to our people. Mmereko wa rena o a se mmereko wa letšatši fela ke everyday job, every day as volunteers. So comrades, a fighter I borei o gona ba ro boreile o kwa budutu there's too much to be done. Uno phonela deputy chairperson ya province wa re mamothar matšhetša factory e fi mo ba tshwenyang di workers wa ya kwala ya la matcha mamothar ya kae mamothar o bia di poster kae you can't be a fighter wa borea au boreile no dia door to door ilo tsena motse ka motse by the time o chaisha o lapile wa robala mo borea ka. Fighters must always, and this goes to you as well, leaders, every morning when you wake up, read a chapter of a book. Every morning when you wake up, read a chapter of a book. Because agira utsuwa wa thoma wa ke teleja then lena le ke teleja ka Facebook la ke teleja ka Twitter la ke teleja ka di WhatsApp ge o ka kopanya all of those things you read on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, combine all of them, and the amount of time you spend going through those things is an equivalent of a chapter of a book. So the people who read a book, they reason better than Fikile. 'Mbalula. So, comrades, You comrades must reason better than Fikile Mbalula. You comrades must say, Bagampala Gamuka, not Fikile Mbalula. Fikile Mbalula doesn't read and he has got no time to himself. Watamaya, after the results, they announced or how many people registered to vote. Watamaya, we are more Twitter. Or 2 million plus people have registered to vote. The president of the student command, correct him. Or no, it's not 2 million. It's 500,000 plus. Our candidate Thola. Ograr no, Mushimano was student command. Overla need. U delete Twitter yela. Ungwala information yela afilenke president ya student command. Again, our tellage. Mara Mushimano mutin wabon. Omuporila gampuru mfano wayang correct. Yalo unyokolo le mfanula. He's got no thought process and thinking capacity to can coin something that will paralyze that boy. Arwa Mushimanola uri 2024 is our 2024. Agerba Shimane Balabar 2024 is our 1994. O countera Mushimanola. Or 2024 is our 2024. Why Kori? It has gone extremely low. Low. He couldn't think of anything. The mind is blocked. Why? He hasn't visited a book in a long time to can coin a catchy phrase which will undermine the president of the student command. That's why 2024 is our 2024. Kor orugana le mushimanola ukabare banji di shopo nja zone 1. Ya luena. Kilwe chao sebale. Don't read to remember. Don't read to memorize anything. Just read. Because the brain functions differently. One day, you are going to try make a point. And then the library in your brain will not disappoint you. It just opens like this. Okre we betile utshwana le borena so ba o bili ba badimo. Ore hey badimo ba ka ba itsena gore mola ke go gare ke a ke re mo ba ntantše mai ka kwa le nna ke tswa ka ramo ke tswile. A se badimo. You once read about it somewhere. You just don't remember. But if you don't read anything, this brain has got nothing to store in the library. And even during a moment where you ought to think on your feet, the library is open, but it's empty. So you cannot be a leader if you don't read a book. Any book. If you go and take the Bible and put it next to where you sleep and just read a Bible. As long as you are reading something, you are activating this brain. You are expanding its thinking capacity. Because a ground force must be a thinking machine. You are a doctor of society. Ge o fita mola motse mola in your community. Ge wena o tsena ba re di answera tša rena di fitlhile. You are a doctor of society. Ha o ka re o ya operation ka kwa theater o kana miso ba sa re ba tlo thaba di injection tša o robatša. Wa tsena doctor le khoa plus le rata makgoa gampe. E o tsenela le khoa o re a mama tona go phela lo phela. Ba rometse le doctor le khoa operation ya ka yo tsamaya botse. Ke moka ba sa o bia motse ba o prepare. Doctor ya re o kwa eng wa re ke kwa pain mo ya thoma ya lla doctor le gore hi o kana mempete ka wa di bona di gaone tšela tša kwa sepetele di thiba ka mo pele fela ba di o bona o emelela gore nna nka sa dia operation ka mo morago a o sa naga le o tseba le ka mo morago gore he bothata keng doctor ialla doctor jalo la doctor nna ke hwile o e bone gale doctor nna ke hwile ke lena. You are doctors of society. You can't go into communities and say, Barry, we are unemployed, there are no jobs. What? Hey, Mishuma na luba ona ka satsuga ibile ona ka re a ke le mmona wa nkwe kholo o tšea mishumo ka moka a kwa satsuga bile le moshumba e ba re mishuma e gona ba ko wena or no, we are going to create jobs. We are going to reopen the manufacturing industry of South Africa through beneficiation. Beneficiation, chrome yela ya rena ya kwa skukun. Aisa tlo tsamaya raw as it is. Re converter into steel. And how re converter into steel, inyaka banna le basadi. That's how we create jobs. More gae mo. Ori. That's why That's why there is no manufacturing economy in South Africa. We are a consuming economy. Most South Africa mo are really toothpick, are really menches. Menches solo laitang uchaule China. Ale fetale rauna mebereko. Why can't you say let's open a factory yaudia me menches? Are stop the menches chauchwa China. Chauchwa China I did say namo. Menches someone get 10 rand. Oh, those are South Africa, 10 rand. One more South Africa menches will produce you more, 5 rand. That's how you protect your industry. When you protect your industry, the demand goes high. When the demand goes high, the supply must increase. It means more jobs for our people. That's you, doctor of society, when you go into our houses. Comrades, let's start a meeting yabatho if le na le convinced yourself. Tell them I'll come back on this one. Don't pretend to know when you know nothing. Because the more you speak, the more stupid you sound. Do not ridicule yourself. But lo tompa batwalo no. Ye asiki tshwara gabotse. E reng ke tla butša baetapele ke tla boya. And o skaela ruri o boye. O ba botša gore tabela ke tšo e kry-a she. That's what you must do. Comrades, fighters, look after each other. They don't hold grudges. Ritile mo conferencing ka mo holong e. Ra kgetha baetapele ba bantšhwa mo ba Limpopo. If you disagreed at that time, by now that issue should be closed. Because fighters do not hold grudges. Reta mo rabakishana ka maina e ba re fetša o vouta re resolvile e fedile. Once you take it out of here, you are no longer a fighter. Maqabane a re gola ne re bitsana maqabane. Batho ba le ba ANC re ba bitša gore ke maqabane a thambo. Na ba re bitša ba re ke rena maqabane a wini. Maqabane ke lentswe le le tšwang kwa lebollong la banna wa Maxhosa ge ba le kwa ba tlotšana ka letsoku mo mmeleng. Ba swantše ba le tlotše le ka mo morago. Mara o kgone ke tlotša ka morago. O mongwe wa geno wo wetšeng le yena o swantše a o tlotše ka mo morago. Le yena a thene le wena o mo tlotše ka mo morago. Ba re ba qaba ke maqabane ba qaba o qaba o a ba fetša ba bitsana maqabane le qabane laka. That's where the concept Likabani comes from. Ori, here in the initiation school, there is no mirror. There is nothing I can use to see if you did a good job at the back. I just have to trust you. You are a comrade of mine. I know you've got my back. I know you can't do something bad to me. That's why Kichwa confidently like Satsiburi. How do I look like? Because you took care of my back and I took care of your back. Remakabani. Kialwa. I'm in a war. I'm fighting the enemy. I should never be worried to look back because you are at my back. You are taking care of the enemy at the back and I'm taking care of the enemy in front. You ought to ask the question, if you seated here, Ole Kabani, la mutotli na wa branch yao na. Do you have each other's backs or you expose each other with ease and want to destroy one another? Barria Limpopo Ground Forces Forum, go for apology, go and serve the apology there for me. How fitamo awi bulele apology la winna ka marao. Bar Julia Sugar na receive. Agira must be destroyed. How fecha u comrade yaka. You are not a comrade of mine. Comrades, let's look after each other's back. There are a lot of people who hate us out there. We cannot afford to hate each other inside this wall, inside the EFF. Always, when you see a person with an EFF t-shirt or a beret, you must just smile. Maraba start. Pitori, Alitsiban Lulziban. A fighter, fighter, fighter. Why? We know that in the EFF, we love each other. We are a family. I don't have to know you. As long as you are wearing your EFF regalia, you are a comrade of mine. That's the mentality we must have. Comrades, we are going to work now. When we leave here, there will not be a VD without VD-ETFs. There will not be in February a VD without a table, a VD without a gazebo, a VD without visible EFF. Because we came here in our numbers from Vembe, from Mopani, Waterbags, Kukuni, and we met in Capricorn. We came here and we said we're going to start a journey to victory from Sishewu, and nothing is going to stop us when we leave here. We are going to march until Union Building. Only the Union Building will stop us. No one can stop us. No factionalist can stop us. No lazy person can stop us. No divider will stop us. No Lucifer will stop us. No train can stop this victory. No one can determine the future of South Africa. The future of South Africa is in your hands. Use your vote next year progressively. Amanda! My Maitome! Amanda!